Let me hit record on the other recorder. Okay, recorder's on. Anytime you're ready, go for it.
This is Diane Kahn from Humans of San Quentin, and you're listening to Vroom Vroom Veer with Jeff Smith. And I'm going to remind you today to give someone a smile. You never know if it's the only one they're going to get.
That's perfect. Yes. I like doing that on the phone, which is kind of difficult, but yes. The phone smile. Anyway, thank you very much. Let me hit stop. I'll be right back.
Are you ready to thoughtfully steer away from your revved up, frenzied, and far too often scripted life? Then welcome to Vroom Vroom Veer with Jeff Smith, where he guides you down the road differently traveled by sharing unique experiences with guests who have managed to shift away from a life stuck on cruise control and veered their way into a more authentic and fulfilling one in all sorts of interesting and kind of remarkable ways. Get ready to Vroom Vroom Veer with your differently traveled road chauffeur, Jeff Smith.
Eric North. Thank you so much for being on Vroom Vroom Veer and welcome to the show. How's it going?
I'm doing awesome, Jeff. Thank you for having me on your show. This is a great show. I resonate with the name Vroom Vroom Veer. That's awesome. So really cool.
We can talk about that. It cost. It was fun. It was work, but we got there. So You are the happiness warrior. So your website is thwarrior.com. So talk a little bit about what you're most excited about, life, the universe, and everything today.
Well, right now, I have been an entrepreneur for a long time. So I've been self-employed for almost 20 years. And one of the things that I've done is I've done multiple businesses, but mostly it's because I own a longevity clinic, which I started as a patient in another clinic about a year prior to that. And it really just changed my mindset, it changed my life. It kind of turned things around. I went from a frustrated high achiever to a happy, balanced, optimized high achiever. And I was able to really take create independence and create a much greater sense of trust in myself too. If I can make a good decision, it's my decision. I think about things the way I think about it. It might be different than how you think about it. Sure. But I'm going to get to my destination because I have a plan in my head of where I want to be. And right now, it's been I started thinking in the last few years, what can I do beyond, hiring people, being a job, just helping people get helping people feel good about themselves, helping people have a better journey in life. And I thought, this is great. I have my business, and this is a direct thing, impact on people every day. But what could I do that's more? And a lot of my friends were like, you'd be a really great motivational speaker. And I thought, that's not really the path I want to go into. And then somehow the name Happiness Warrior kind of was bestowed upon me, and I became sort of, this is where I want to go now. This is where I want to go, and this is where I want to get some action in this in my life. So I started taking steps, started doing an Instagram that had the Happiness Warrior Official, which is my Instagram. I started building a following. I have 125,000 followers now on Instagram. Wow. And the thing about that is that when I put up a video or something, it gets a lot of views. But it also, I try to really make sure that I respond to people's comments and really figure out why they are watching and what's making them tick too. Sure. So really my journey now is entrepreneur is always in my heart. I love creating business. I love strategizing, and I like just kind of having an idea that I can finish and make happen. But the Happiness Warrior has a much bigger sort of presence in my life because it's kind of become who I am. And it's become, right. And it's who I am in public, it's who I am in private, but it's who I am all the time. And I feel like it's more of a calling than it is sort of a career path. But it is a career path in some ways too, because I'm speaking a lot and I talk to a lot of people. Sure. But it's something that I feel like it gives me I'm 61. It gives me a renewed sense of purpose as I get older. There's got to be a purpose in life to be happy. Sure. So I think a lot about happiness. So
yeah. I love it. That's great. Good for you. Talk about a good way to transition, to the towards the end, as they say.
You want those, I want 40 more years, but I think to myself, right. I want 40 more good productive years or whatever. I don't know what the time limit is these days. But I think there's one of the things about being 61 is I'm trying to show the age. When I was 50, I started my whole journey. Actually, I started it was the beginning of Instagram. I had a new Instagram account called Redefining 50. And I grew pretty fast. Okay. It grew pretty fast, and I did the videos, and I talked about aging, and I talked about aging is on our own terms, and how we can take and what we can do now affects us 10, 15, 20 years from now as we age.
Totally.
So how we take care of ourselves now and our mindset, and, I don't want to fail at anything. So I always want to do my best, and that's probably, I think that's probably the best thing about aging is I think we get better at doing our best, so
Totally.
yeah.
I can say like myself, I went through like when I was in the Air Force and I retired like around 38. So like
Mm-hmm.
before 38, right? So
Right.
like in my late 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, I was not as healthy and happy as I am today.
Sure.
And I know why now because I had to go through it, right? But
Right.
I would look at people and like I had buddies in the military and we would brew beer together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And brewing beer is like a commitment. Like you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
hanging out for like 3 hours plus, right?
Yeah.
And it's labor, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of it is like waiting for watching stuff boil, right? So
Chemistry. Yeah.
it's not a lot. There's not, there is labor and work, but there's also a lot of standing around. And
Mm-hmm.
my buddies were like fine standing around, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, "Can I get a chair? Because my feet hurt and my legs hurt
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything hurts."
Yeah. Watch this thing
and,
brew now. Okay. Yeah. Let's
and
stand here.
they were all older than me, so that
Right.
was like the first inkling in the back of my mind that maybe I'm not as healthy as I should be. And
Sure.
that was true, and it
That's
wasn't.
actually a good test. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do anything about it until after I retired, and I
Mm-hmm.
met some folks that were, you know, it's strange how you find these things. So let's put a pin in that story because I want your story, not
Okay.
mine.
Sure.
Everybody's heard my stories a million times.
Oh, that's interesting. Still interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. But so you're Eric North and you're now the happiness warrior, but you weren't always that. You didn't always, have like a mindfulness practice and get a good 8 hours of sleep every night, and meditate and do your thing, right?
Well,
So
when I was
you grew
younger,
up
yeah.
somewhere else and you were a young kid and you went through some
Yeah.
shit.
Well, when I was a young kid, I thought I was kind of rebellious, but not in a bad way. I wasn't a bad kid, but I was rebellious that I did things on my own terms. And I did things a lot of times. I did things without permission. So, like in high school,
Nice.
I was an explorer. I loved to travel, and I was always reading travel books. So I would start just sometimes I'd just take off during the school day and leave for the day and come back at dinner time. One time I went to New
You
York
were like
City.
Ferris Bueller. Okay.
Well, yeah. One time I was in college. I mean, high school. I just said, you know what? It's 4 hours to. I drove up north to a lot of times with my family, and I drove to New York City, and I knew how to take the tunnel in. And all I knew how to get to was Washington Square, and I was terrified because I was during the day, and I was supposed to be at school, and I was like, I'm going to get home, and it's going to be my own private adventure. But those kind of things are things that I've done throughout my life. I've always been sort of I say being an entrepreneur is definitely is the ultimate risk taker because everything is on the line when you
Right.
have a business.
Right.
And
Right.
so,
When you're younger, it's not as bad because you don't have a wife
yeah,
and kids, but so it's
right.
just you.
But I really, yeah, now I have a lot of
Right.
responsibility. But at the
Right.
time, growing up, though, I was I took care of things. I was very careful about having, being good at my job and my career at that time. But I was always on the hunt for an adventure. I love adventure, but adventure makes me happy. And I had some relatives, some aunts that were very influential in my life. One of them, she was the happiness warrior without having the title. She just was one of these people that
Okay.
everywhere she went, people just flocked to her. And I get
Yeah.
that a
Yeah.
lot too. Sometimes with me too, I get that. And I like the idea that people are happy to see you come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Come
And
back.
sometimes it's a little annoying because it would take 2 hours to go get milk at the grocery store with her. But it was
Yeah.
the fact that everyone was so happy to share their really private things with her that they were like going through in their lives.
Oh, nice.
And she had a
Good
solution. That's kind
listener.
of
Right.
and that's kind of my biggest influence in life is, and I've been proud of myself, and not like to be too proud, but I've been proud that the words that I have had for people over the years have been words that are important to them still. Like
Nice.
something
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
give,
Yeah.
and
Right.
that to me is a symbol of if you want to have a success in life, it's not about a big fancy car or a house. It's really about the impact you have on others.
Sure.
I think
Oh, yeah.
that's the really big that's success to me. I think is how much
Yeah. Yeah.
good you can do. So.
Right. Like these days, one of the things that gives me some joy
Hmm.
is when I happen to have to call somebody and talk to customer service.
Hmm.
I usually try to make it a goal to have them like laughing
Oh,
before
I do
we
too.
hang up.
I do too. Always. I know it makes it much better.
Well,
It
it's
really
partly
does.
selfish because,
You
I'm
want
sucking up. Yes. But I'm
yeah,
also,
but
I'm actually like the other way, right? Everything we do is a little bit both, I think.
everything is
Right. But
there's always a
I
desire.
genuinely want to have them smile and laugh
Hmm.
and feel heard and seen,
Yeah.
a little bit. I mean, nothing life changing, just make a joke. Right. And if I can
Well,
get them laughing, it opens them up a little bit.
it always makes people feel more comfortable when you can actually see them and see them or hear them, or
Right.
and make them
Totally.
laugh. I think
Yeah.
laughter.
Yeah.
I always say if I can't get a smile out of someone, then they have a really deeper problem that I can really help them with. Because usually I can get everybody. I can usually places that I'll go to frequently, say the post office. I do some things for my business and things. You make these kind of they're superficial friendships, but they have more meaning than just superficiality too. They are people that if you ran into them sometime in life, they would know who you are and they would trust you would trust them.
Right.
So yeah,
It doesn't cost anything to smile. It
costs
doesn't.
nothing to be kind and be
Right.
pleasant,
Right.
and
Right.
and people.
And go the extra mile, like even
Oh
when
yeah,
you shouldn't be is when you really ought
oh
to
yeah.
be.
Well, you
Give
always
them
want
the
to have.
benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
I think that's also having the upper hand and control of ourselves too. That way we control our emotions better too.
True.
You don't want to lose yourself in some kind of big messy loud conversation with someone. That's the
Yeah.
last thing you want. And you never feel good about it. And I think about when I was younger,
yeah. Right.
I was very
Okay.
when I was younger, I had to I was always like fighting for myself, and I would be
Mm.
more sensitive to aggression, than I
Right.
am now. So
Right. I
it's
get
not a
it.
good, and that's part of the journey is making a few mistakes along the way too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I get it. It's I think we all have to go through those things. I think I went through an aggressive kind of stage too.
hmm
I think we
hmm
all go through it,
hmm
that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means you're human.
well, it
And
means
yeah,
it
you
also
have to learn.
if we create awareness of it though too, I think a lot of times what people get stuck is when they're not aware and they keep
Right.
repeating the same pattern, and they're not realizing why am I unhappy? And they never ask themselves that question, but then they think about how I can make other people unhappy too. That's what they're really trying to do, and that's the kind of person that I take as a challenge. That
Right.
if you can get through to them, there's a good person and there's a good human in there. There's some innovative ideas and creative thoughts that we need to hear. We're not hearing because they're not allowing us to hear them properly.
Right.
So and that's what I say. I really think of a lot about people who don't have. I also think about people who are quiet and they're shy and they've been sort of shoved to the side in life. And I think they have a lot of that they need to be seen and heard too. And that's where I kind of come in with my approach is that I want to speak to everyone.
Sure.
And there's not just someone who's shiny and bright, but someone who's a little who needs to be who's ready to be shiny and bright. They just haven't been brought out yet.
Yeah, I've had like those quiet types on the show, right?
Hmm.
They talk just fine,
They're
right?
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, they do, and they'll tell you they do, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like being an introvert doesn't mean like you're the opposite of an extrovert.
Oh, no.
Not really. It's more of a what how somebody explained it to me that made sense. It's like being around people and talking to a certain kind of person is sort of like drains energy, and some people get
Right.
energized, right? Some people
Yeah.
really like it and feed off of it, and then some people are a little bit of both. Like I think I'm a little bit of both. Like
Yeah.
I went to a conference, right, and for podcasting,
Oh,
and
nice.
it was cool but exhausting, right? Like
Well, of course.
it's like, okay, this is too much.
Well, you have so many personalities
Yes.
all
Right.
buzzing at
Yeah.
once
It's
there
just,
too.
exactly.
Yeah, so much
Exactly.
energy, and you
Right.
don't want to get
It
lost
can
in the
be
shuffle.
fun. Right. But then you need a break and then you can go back
Yeah.
and play some more. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm like that too. I like a little
Yeah.
quiet time. People have said, I had a family member tell me that it was like a hurricane when I came in, but I think that wasn't, and I was really kind of upset by that characterization because I thought I'm coming in, I'm taking care of things, I'm helping everyone, and maybe you're just a little bit jealous of what I do too. But it was a
Right.
hurtful comment on me too. It was a spiteful comment, and I took that kind of seriously. I thought, then I'm going to listen. Maybe there is some truth in that too. Maybe I need to look at myself a
Right.
little more carefully and make
Right.
sure that I'm more gentle and have a gentle touch and leave a better path. And
Sure.
that's the kind of thing I like. I like to hear. Sometimes the most negative criticism is the best advice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, totally. Whenever I think like I get triggered now, like, and then want to be reactive,
right.
after I'm done, then I think, okay, I have some work to do.
Right. Well, reactive is, yeah. And that's the same thing.
Yeah. Cause they're like, it's not like if you're actually having a reaction, it's too late. You can't,
It's already too late.
right, exactly.
And then you're already
Right. But
doing
then you can
yeah.
come back later and go, why? What happened? What
Well,
triggered that?
damage
Yeah,
control, right? You want
exactly.
to think
Well,
about
yes, I
that.
have to
Yeah.
repair any damage that I
Publicity,
might have done.
PR.
Yeah. With hopefully just the one
I'm sure you're
person.
not that bad. I'm sure you don't have
No,
anything too terrible.
no,
No,
nothing too
no,
terrible.
no.
But I just bring it up because I think
We're
the
human.
longer you're on the journey, the more you're open to correcting those things. Right. I don't want to be
That's the hope.
reactive. Right.
That's the hope. That's the hope,
Right.
I think,
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
anyone.
And you're not going to get better if you don't, you know, reflect on it. Right. And try to
I'm an
figure
easy
out
mark. I'm an
why.
easy mark.
Yeah.
If I see someone honestly trying to do that with me, I'm very easy and forgiving in that type of situation usually too.
Right.
So it's very easy. It's much better to forgive than to hold that grudge for too long.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
forgiveness is a tough one there's some things you have to
That's
have.
a whole show right
It's a
there.
whole show. There's boundaries and everything else too. So
Yes. I had a lady, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but her website was howtoforgive.com. So,
mhm.
yeah. And I think it was, I don't know if you're Christian grown up or not. But I grew up Christian. She grew up Christian. And we all have like the stories from Christianity, and she retold the story of Jesus on the cross in a way that I had never heard it before.
Mm.
And I'm going to share. So if you don't like it, sorry.
Okay, it's your show.
But no, this was kind of, so there's Jesus on the cross, right? And he's getting stabbed, and and that's his hero moment. He's going to say, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," right? And I always took that as there's God up in heaven, and he's like Old Testament God, ready to smite humanity.
Right.
And Jesus is saying, no, look, God, I want to take this on myself and say, they don't know what they're doing. Don't kill them or forgive them, for they know not what they do. Very literal, right?
There's a big argument. There's a lot to pack in there. There's a lot packed in there.
There is, but
Yeah.
that was like my one and only interpretation that I had my whole life, all the way up until this lady, the how to forgive lady, said like her interpretation perspective was that Jesus, the man, didn't have it in him to do the forgiving and asked God to forgive for him.
See, that's
you're getting
where I had the
reactive
upbringing. I had the upbringing too, and that's where they lose me. That's where I got lost.
Okay.
That's where I'm done
I
with
think
that.
both are valid. I think,
but that's where I get kind
it's
of
just
like,
a new perspective.
I had
she was like, I can't forgive it. For her, there's more to it.
But
Her perspective,
I like the
it's like,
human. I like the individual
me too.
taking the power and not putting that power. I couldn't
She
do
was
this
delegating.
without God. Well, you know what?
She was
There's
delegating.
8 billion people on this planet. I can do this to show God that I respect God, but this is going to come from me.
I understand.
It's not God working through me. It's me.
You want to be the
proving
subject,
that
not the object.
I can give more than I take in the world too.
Totally.
So
I think both are valid. I had just never heard the other side of that coin.
It's valid if that's what you believe, but I think there's a lot of holes in that too, though. So
sure.
Yeah. I'm not going to get the. I don't like to talk about.
No. Nobody's right and nobody's wrong.
No,
it's just a different perspective.
Right.
And I hadn't heard it. So, and her thing was when we struggle to forgive in our lives, we can ask God to help us.
Well, that's meditation or prayer too. That's what prayer does. Yeah,
right.
It's
Like,
just talking
I
to
can't
yourself.
do it. I need help. Right.
Well,
if that's all you can do, then that's better than not trying.
Well,
How's
that's right. But that
Right.
asking for help, though, our brains are going to start thinking about how to help ourselves too. So you're putting that out there in the universe too.
Sure. Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah, I think asking for help is one of the greatest things we can do as human, as individuals, because so many of us don't ask for help. And
True.
that creates unhappiness. That creates body problems.
We
It
all,
creates
yeah, yeah, we can't.
illnesses. It creates
Yeah.
illness. It creates injuries.
People are ready to help you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
always someone out there
And
who's
you're
ready.
doing them a favor in allowing them to help you.
Yeah, yeah, you are. Some people are dying to help.
Because
Yeah,
a lot of people want to help you.
yeah, yeah. I've always said there's always someone out there to help, and
Yeah.
I've been through some low points in my life too. So that have been like, well, how did I get here? But not many. Just there was one. I can think of one big valley that I
Sure.
climbed out.
Go
I
for it.
climbed out of, but
Let's
it's
talk
not a
about it.
pattern. But what's that?
Let's talk about it.
It was bad. It was a bad relationship about 25 years ago. It was just
Okay.
like with someone who I feel exhibits all of the classic identifications to a sociopath. So I think if you ever have a sociopath or psychopath in your life, and there's like 1 in 100 people
Right.
are people who have statistically, so that can just be extremely damaging, and it goes beyond a normal, like it can be very abusive and cause PTSD too.
Sure.
So I think about that time in my life, and I realized that I wasn't defeated, but I also realized that I needed to get out like immediately and like reset,
There's
and
nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to stay
And
where
I was
you
angry
are.
for a long time, and
Right.
that anger probably was kept me going, but it probably held me back a little bit too for a couple of years, and it kind of
Mm.
like and so I think grateful. Yeah, I'm always grateful for everything that happened, because anything bad that happens is
You
also
learn.
it's always
Yeah.
a lesson. So
Yeah.
I
You
had a
learn.
conversation with a guy who was a quadriplegic. He was functional. He was starting to be. He had worked really hard on himself, but he had been originally with a broken neck. And he said the most remarkable. He said, "I am grateful that I broke my neck." And he said, "Like, it's changed my mindset. It's changed everything in my life for the better. I feel more. I feel
Wow.
like I know myself better." He was so brave to say that. And I was just like, "What a chilling thing to say," but also really
Deep. Yeah. That's
deep and
intimately. Yeah.
courageous and
Yeah.
strong-willed too. Someone who knows himself.
Right.
And yeah, so.
I went through something like not as bad, but I reconnected with a friend from the military,
Hmm.
and I started kind of like a Zoom kind of relationship with him.
Okay.
Um, and he told me, like, at the outset, he said, I want you to stay my friend. So if I ever ask you for money, just say no. But I am a
Okay.
mooch, so don't give me money.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you do, it's your fault.
Okay. Well, that's
So,
not your fault, though. No,
well,
he's putting
uh,
the blame on you.
yeah, okay. I should have believed him.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, did it
Just
go
like,
well?
no.
No. Okay.
Anyway, so we friend broke up, but
Yeah.
you don't need those people in your life,
No.
and the thing is like, I think I was like having an ego moment saying like, oh, I can help him. And, oh,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that some people you can help if they want to be helped.
Right.
Other people, they're just, they don't want to be helped, but
Yeah. It's a pattern.
they'll take your help.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because that's how they thrive. They thrive on
Right.
using your energy and going on to the next person's energy, and they're
Right.
energy vampires
Right.
usually too.
Right. Yes.
And
Yeah.
really, and that was something I learned. Energy vampire. I heard that term years ago, but when I heard that
Yeah.
term, I was like, "Oh, really makes it. That really makes things understandable." You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. 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 There's a show you should check out on, I don't know where it is. It's What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of that, but
It's a vamp.
there's an energy vampire in there. But
Oh
the
no way!
show is about like regular vampires,
I
right?
think I've seen a few minutes
But
of that.
one
Yeah,
of them is an energy vampire,
it's
and
depressing.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
And no, the comedy is just so great
that's so
because
funny though, because that's
yeah,
so like it's put that on the air is just such a great thing, too, because
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, yeah, yeah. It sort of just brings it
classic,
to life. Yeah.
right? Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you do to like maintain happiness? Because I've got a laundry list of things I like to do, and these aren't like earth-shattering things, right?
No, no,
No, no,
none
no.
of them are.
I'm
Yeah,
talking
mine.
about like strength training and sleep and diet and whether or not you drink or not, and movement, mindfulness, spirituality. Let's get into all of these things.
Well, I'm a creature of self-discipline, and self-discipline to
Excellent.
me is something that has I can be I can get a lot done in a short amount of time generally, and I've always been that way. So I've always been like the first if a big multiple question test of like 300 questions, I'm always the first kid out and first one out in half an hour. I'm done.
Wow.
I've
Yeah.
already passed it. I know all my information. I know I
Right.
did well. I'm gone. So that kind of stuff I process fast. But for me, self-discipline is it's kind of my entire life, really. When you think about it, it's kind of the one thread that kind of goes through everything. If you pulled it, I would disappear. Okay, so but for me, it is self. I think self-discipline is self-love in its purest
Okay.
form. And you hear about let's
Sure.
love myself better. It can sound kind of trite sometimes. When you really think about what it really is, self-love, self-care is not just a massage or a facial. But self-love is believing in ourselves, and believing in ourselves means we're willing to take that step to create better habits, more discipline,
Right.
better consistent behavior. Consistency is the key to anything. Make it better, right?
Right. Right.
And so that's kind of that's where the root of everything for me is. And then I have my processes to get through things. And I think one thing I always say is I think affirmation every morning is really important. Every day,
Okay.
be very
Okay.
consistent. Morning affirmation. And I've said this many times. Mine is so simple and childlike, but it's so effective. And the first thing I do is I speak in a voice like I really like this person. And I say, "Good morning, Eric. It's going to be a great day."
I
I'm
like
not
that.
always that loud, but sometimes I'm that loud. I'm just like, "Good
Okay.
morning, Eric. It's going to be a great day." And what that does is, and I think, well, I don't care if anyone hears me or not, it doesn't matter. But what it does is it kind of protects me for the rest of the day. And I realize that I won't live. And I also tell myself every night before I go, I have business and business commitments, and there's a lot of pressure going on
Right.
every day.
Right.
And I think realize you're covering a lot. You're covering a lot. You're holding a lot up in the air. And I always say, there are a lot of things can happen any day. Something can pull the rug out from underneath me. It doesn't matter what I don't know what's going to happen. But I always tell myself I will not live in fear. So I have self-discipline. I have a non-fear-based mindset.
Okay. I like that.
Okay. And that non-fear-based mindset is so important because that's what holds us back. That's what keeps us stagnated. That's what keeps us unhappy. That's what makes us lash out or
Sure.
fear.
Oh yeah.
So fear is probably the biggest problem in this world
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people don't,
Manufactured.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's fears is such a huge thing,
And
because it's like most of the things that people are afraid of are never ever going to happen.
your greatest fears are never going to happen. They're never going to
Never
happen.
going to
That's what
happen. No.
it's the easiest thing to tell yourself when you are going through a moment like that too.
Right.
And it's
Fear is
just
healthy. You need fear. Fear is there's a healthy version of fear.
well,
But
there's
then
fear that keeps us hungry
alive.
and going and
Right, right,
alive.
right,
Of
right.
course, there's a fear of
Yeah.
homelessness. There's a fear of being sick. There's a fear of being lonely.
Eaten by
It's
a
another,
lion or something.
yeah, eaten by a lion or trampled or something. But just being lonely is a fear for a lot of people. But
Yes. Oh yeah.
yeah. So
We
you
could
know,
talk about that. Lonely is very not healthy. Don't be lonely.
yeah. I
Yeah.
try to think about all those things when I'm talking to people and when I do a segment on TV and I'm exercising. But while I'm doing an exercise or some stretching for everyone, I'm sort of talking through why this makes us happier and how it can really help us every day, that kind of stuff,
Mm.
so that
Yeah.
you can watch the viewer can turn off the TV or turn off their phone and walk away with one thing that I said that might be helpful to them.
Nice. Nice. So I know you definitely like you like working out. So what is your training like
Is
look like? Yeah.
a pretty fast walk every morning before
I
I like
love
to get out. I,
walking.
I like
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
out before sun. I like to get I'm a big believer in the different phases of the sun or the different stages of the sun
Yeah.
over the day. And the morning
Yeah,
sun
yeah.
and the late afternoon sun is the most healthy spectrum.
Yes,
It's good for
yes. Yeah.
depression. It's great
There's
for
science in
motivation
there.
and
Yeah.
motivate. There's lots of
Melatonin. Yeah,
science
yeah, yeah.
behind all. Anything I'm saying is not just there's
It's
science behind all of
science.
it.
Yeah.
And I like to do, and I like to kind of challenge myself on my walk to kind of walk as fast as I can. The good,
Okay.
I like to really think about. I don't have a head. I don't usually have a headset or anything on, so what I'm really thinking about is being mindful in the moment of what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So I'm mindfully walking, and I'm going through. I have great areas I can walk through near where I live, and it can be an interesting walk. Anyway, it's not New York City, but it's still a lot. There's a lot to see on my walk.
Nice.
And that's a really important part of it. And that's before I do anything. And then I like to do a little walk after each meal if I can too. Usually I
That's
take my
good.
dog. Usually I have my dogs with me at some point too. So I usually have three walks a day anyway.
Wow.
And then
Nice.
during I think the gym is not necessarily something everyone can find time for or has time or is
No,
able to
I'm
afford
not a
or
fan
anything.
of the gym.
And we can
I'm
do
not.
a lot at home. So I always think
Totally.
if I'm home, like today, I'm home today. And I thought, well, I'm going to do uh, sets of 25 push-ups with my feet elevated, so they're incline push-ups. I'm going to get just a nice strong feeling of that. It's good for my mindset.
Yeah.
I had several calls today I had to
And
do.
free and simple.
It's free and simple. It's like you just, hey, I gotta go upstairs. Let's do 25 right now. I gotta go back down there. Let's do
Yeah.
25 down here. Then I can do that
Right.
over time. It makes you really strong.
Oh yeah.
So, and I think a lot of times we can
You
stretch.
need that,
You can
especially
stretch
as
for
we get
5 minutes.
older too. Yeah.
Even stretching, and I think doing neck stretch. And there's science behind this. There was this article in the Washington Post doing a shoulder roll. So I'm doing a shoulder roll. You have your arms out doing a roll. That lowers our blood pressure and heart rate almost immediately without
Sure.
medication.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Free.
it's a
And it's
great
free.
thing to do. You're sitting here and you're feeling like the numbers are adding up and everything's frustrated. Stop and stretch for a minute. Just do something that just open up a little bit. And that really will lower blood pressure gets up and
Oh
when we
yeah.
get stressed out.
Oh yeah.
So we want to avoid that in life too, because we live better too. We live longer. We have less stress.
Right. So like one of the big rocks back when I was, 38 and celebrating my
Yeah.
retirement.
Really, that's upside down right there. You're already in a different paradigm than most people. Mm.
But I had to get off the junk food. So I
Hmm.
started like, you know, figuring out what I could do to eat better. And I'm,
Okay.
more, I'm still cheat every once in a while because, life is too short not to have a brownie every once in a while.
Oh,
But
you're allowed. Yeah.
hey, especially once you get it dialed in.
Hmm.
So where are you insofar as your diet goes? What's it
My
look like?
diet is not extreme, and it's very disciplined as well because
Okay.
I'm really a big believer. I generally rarely eat out unless it's a really good meal, like a fine dining
Nice.
time, and
Okay.
that's date night
Yeah.
every 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay.
Otherwise, I go to the farmers market regularly every weekend. I buy
Nice.
a lot of. I know all my farmers. I know who buys. I know who grows my vegetables. I know the apple
Nice.
farmer he works at the University of Pennsylvania, and they have about 30 different kinds of apples. And I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
like
yeah.
the meat I'm getting
The
is good. The eggs
farmers
I'm
that
getting is
name their
good.
pigs.
So
Yes, yes.
and yeah, they actually know where these animals are slaughtered too. So they're not.
Right.
It's not just. It's not a pretty picture, but it's also a very humane way of eating too. And it's also
Right.
community based because the more people go to the farmers market, the more farmers will come in and bring fresh food to people as well. So
Right.
that's one of my big things is having fresh, good quality food. It does not need to be expensive, but if you
Right.
prepare it properly, I like to cook. So I prepare it properly. I'm getting good nutrition. And I eat a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of, they say fruit's high in sugar, but I think this kind of sugar that is actually gives us energy too.
Right.
So I don't really have a lot of restrictions. I used to do some bodybuilding competitions, and most people who do that,
Wow.
they measure their food out by grams and this and that.
Oh yeah.
I can tell you this.
Oh yeah.
I competed successfully. I've placed well. I have never weighed my food or cared about my macros. Okay. So
Okay.
mostly I think about what I need to eat that day. So this is what my day ahead. I've got to talk today. I'm on camera today. I've got to be alive and feel good. Walnuts, blueberries, good oatmeal
Mm,
start in the morning.
nice.
That kind of thing. A banana gives you energy later on when you feel like you're going to fail. It'll give you energy an hour later. So things that I'm thinking
Right.
about is what do I need for the day? Now, if I'm I'm on a plane all day or something and stuck in the airport, I'm not moving around very much.
Mm,
I'm not going to eat that much that day. I'm not going to overindulge. And
good
then
idea because
so
most of your options suck anyway.
most of your options are very expensive and they're terrible. Yeah, they all
Yeah.
taste the same. They all taste the same in the back.
They're full of sugar.
Well, they
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
taste the same. Everything kind of tastes the same anyway. So
Right. Right.
I just think about that. But I'm very as far as I cut off. I don't do any type of like. I'm hungry a lot because I'm very active. I'm always kind of in
There's nothing.
motion
Yeah.
generally,
I
and
figured this out. Like not like it was kind of like the same time as everybody started talking about intermittent fasting.
Yeah, I
So
never was into
I
that.
don't want to do intermittent fasting. I
No,
don't.
guess what?
Hmm.
The science shows that it doesn't do anything really. It was popular. It was a popular. I would go to for my longevity clinic. I
Right.
would go to our annual meeting and every year in
It worked for
December.
mice really well.
Well, but yeah, but it's not practical for humans. It doesn't do much difference. It's really about calories. Calorie intake is what causes us
Sure.
to gain weight.
Restricted calories,
And
right?
every year when I go to my big conference from our longevity conference, which is thousands of people, there's always a new buzzword. And 6, 7 years ago, it was intermittent fasting, and then it was
Right.
this, and it was something else. And there's always something catchy that doesn't really make sense later on. So,
Mm. Well, about that time when that buzzword got real
mhm,
popular, I was noticing, especially like when I would go to Michigan and visit my parents,
mhm,
they're in their 80s,
yeah,
and everybody in Michigan, everything's deep fried, and
mm,
there's always meat
pastries,
and potatoes. Yes, there's apple fritters and donuts and coffee all damn day.
mm.
Right. Well, yes, it all is
Yeah,
lovely and it
good
tastes
stuff.
great, but
But it's
oh my
bad for
God,
you.
yeah, it was just I would go from meal to meal to meal to meal to meal, and I was like, stop. I got tired of just feeling like constantly bloated in a food
Sure.
coma kind of state, where at home I, tried to like mediate the junk
Here's my
a little
rule.
bit. Yeah.
Here's my rule, and I picked this up. It wasn't my own rule. I picked this up from a really. I used to be a personal trainer, so a friend of mine who was a celebrity trainer, and the rule is every other thing in your mouth should be green, meaning it should be a
Yeah.
vegetable or
That's a
fruit.
really good
So
idea.
think about
Yeah.
even starting a high carbohydrate meal. Say we want to have a burger and fries for lunch. It's start that
Right.
meal if you can start it with some broccoli or salad
Totally.
first.
Yeah. Yeah.
That way you're a little bit full. You feel
Right.
more sated by the food. You feel
Yeah.
more satiated by the food, and you feel like you're not going to
Definitely.
overeat.
Right.
And
Yeah. It's salad armor.
it really does. It does. It helps you
Yeah.
digest,
It
and
does.
that's
Yeah.
just
It's
something
great.
we do in our house. And I'm not really a very big. I'm not a big I'm not a big pecker about anybody. I don't make anybody do anything. I just
Sure.
show by example. I show by
Right.
example, and I find
Exactly.
that the
Right.
more you set a good example, the more people will follow you too.
Yeah.
So.
When my wife and I go out to eat, especially when we're visiting relatives in Michigan,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
we will order a salad
Mm-hmm.
and then something like burger and fries, right? And
Yeah.
then we
Yeah.
share each.
Yeah.
You, we'll both eat half the salad and we'll both eat half the burger and fries, and
Right.
that works out.
It's beautiful. And yeah, that way you have enough food. And
Yeah.
another dumb statistic I heard was that 8 French fries are the ideal amount. Anything more than 8 fries is too much.
Isn't that great?
So try that. So that's really hard to do.
Who
That's
eats
very
8 French
there's some
fries?
big fries.
Yeah, it's carbs are weird to me because like I can eat like fries forever and feel fine.
Mhm.
But if I have too much rice or if I have too many noodles,
Wow.
I don't tolerate that well. So,
Mm.
everybody's got their own, it's like we're a little snowflake of biology, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And you have to figure
Potatoes are
out
good
like
for us.
what's gonna work for you.
I think a life without carbs is not really a very healthy life anyway. I think if you go to an all meat diet or you have a no carb
Yeah.
diet
Right.
and I don't think it's a very healthy. I think it's much better to
Right.
have. And then think about the quality of the food we have in this country too. It's not really the same kind of wheat that we might have in Europe, which is a little healthier,
No.
it's
Right.
easier to digest.
Right.
And so I look at things like pasta. Pasta is a highly processed food, but
Right.
it's from a different type of wheat that doesn't cause high blood sugar spikes either. So it's a
Right.
really good meal.
Yeah. If you
So
go to Italy and get pasta, you're fine.
a day without pasta is a day without sunshine in Italy.
I
Okay.
I I
So
when I was in Rome with my in-laws way back when,
mhm.
and we had one of those Italian meals that last way
Yeah.
too long, and it was
Yeah.
awesome. And I didn't feel bloated. I
Oh
didn't feel
no.
sick, and I ate so much,
Yeah.
and it was so good. So yeah, it's definitely don't blame pasta.
No, we
It's it's a,
have a
it's
little espresso.
American flour, I guess. I
I
don't know
think it's
what it is. Yeah,
American cooking techniques or just the
yeah.
way we're used to our food.
It's the
It's
way
not
we
necessarily, I'm not
process the
American.
food.
I like
It's
everything
optimized
about
to not
America. I
go
like,
bad, I think.
I'd much rather live here than anywhere else, and I feel like I'm an
Totally.
American, but I like American food too. Of course, it's
Of
awesome. It can
course.
be really good. So,
Right.
but it gives you perspective. Travel is the greatest way to be more understanding of other things and other people too. It's a good way to
Right.
open our minds, open our palate. So our
Right. Right.
taste palette. So yeah,
So where are
changes.
you like I've recently decided to I didn't quit drinking
Hmm.
alcohol, but
Hmm.
like I want to say I want to drink a lot less alcohol.
I think I am genetically alcohol from being half Swedish and half Scottish. So it's probably I had a
Half
lot of alcohol, and
Swedish,
I've had
half
yeah,
Scottish. Okay,
so
that's a
very
good
big
combo. Yeah.
warrior kind of like
Right,
fighter
right, right.
types of people. But
Yeah, yeah.
my grandfather was an alcoholic, and my father's my Swedish grandfather, and he quit drinking later on in life, but it really did some damage to him mentally too. He wasn't really nice after that. And as a kid, I discovered alcohol in high school and college, and it was
Sure.
fun. It was fun. It was a way to get me out of my
It's
shell.
fun.
And as I got older, now what I do, I think it's poison now. It is
It
poison
is poison. It's for
chemically.
sure. Yeah.
I don't like the way I don't like to spend a lot of time with people who are drinking, and I'm not drinking. I don't usually if I have a drink, it's one drink at a fancy dinner every 5 or 6 weeks, okay, or
Right,
2 months.
right,
It's like
right,
a
right, right.
few times.
You
I
you
count on my
strive to be
hands
the
how many
lightweight.
per year,
Right. I'm with you.
and
Yeah, I get it.
that's
Because you
enough. That's
feel so
enough.
much better when you don't drink.
You
Yeah.
feel so much better. You don't say
Yeah.
stupid things, and you
Right.
sleep. And you also, it really, I
It
think
trashes sleep. Yes.
I like the science. I'm a trainer at heart too. I'm a personal trainer at heart, and I'm very much into like the science of how our bodies work too. And when you have a big bender night, like say you have a big party night, and you have five or
Mm,
six drinks, and you feel horrible,
yeah.
that the repercussions from that night go on for quite a while with our metabolism and our
Yeah.
mindset and our
The
mood,
recovery time is
depression,
like pretty long.
recovery time. Even
Yeah.
for a young person, recovery
Oh
time
yeah.
is not. You're either chasing it again.
Right.
So as we get older, I think it's important to realize it can cause dementia. It can cause. I think one drink once in a while, like you're saying, it's
Yeah.
okay. And I think it's better to
Right.
have it. I'm never. Everyone should do what's best for them. Okay, I'm
Right.
never going to
Right.
be
Right.
shame. I'm never
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
shame it. I'm never going to shame it.
Right.
But I do generally stay away from situations where there's a lot of drinking.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I think it's a good choice.
I don't get back. I decline as it happens. I will say I don't want to go to this party, and then I don't go to the party, and then I don't get invited back again.
Right.
So
That's usually how it goes.
yeah,
So, okay. So where are you on? Do you do like a meditation practice at all?
I do a lot of breathing exercises, and then what I also
Breathing. Oh,
do,
we can talk about breathing.
and
Yeah.
I just do a lot of breathing to stress and for also energy to enhance energy too. And I
Right.
also at night I do. I grew up in the tradition of a very Christian household. I mean, a very like
Okay.
Sunday school, Bible camp, all that stuff. And I got away from like prayer at an earlier age, but then I realized that it was important to have something to talk about every night to myself,
Yeah, I
meditation.
like that. I've never heard
And
anybody say that.
well, I realized it's important to
Yeah.
rehash. My sister had said one day that when she goes to sleep at night, she knows she's done her best and she sleeps really easily. And she has a very stressful life. So she says, I know I've done my best and I go to sleep. I don't have like restless
Oh
times.
yeah. Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, I have restless nights all the time because I don't put the stress away. I don't know how to handle it very well. And that's when I really started to say, this is my time, my nighttime meditation before bed always starts like this. I start with a 4 second intake breath.
Yep.
I want to go to sleep too. This is helpful for sleep. 7 second hold, 4 second exhale. Do that
Mm,
twice.
that's
And
awesome.
then I get into my little mode for prayer or meditation, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I say to myself every night, it's just like my morning thing. I did my best today. I'll do better tomorrow, and tomorrow's a chance to be my best.
Nice.
No, why
Yeah.
not? Why not? That's what life is all about.
Yeah.
And it
You want to
sounds
be
so
getting better
earnest, and
every
I've
day.
always been
Right.
accused of being I'm a very earnest person. When I say things, I always mean it.
Right.
And it's probably my biggest vulnerability is how earnest I am, I think. But I say that every night, and then I might go through my day a little bit, not very long, but I'll go through the day, how grateful I am for everything that I've received today. And I receive quite a bit if I'm grateful. I have these trees outside of my office here. You can't see them right now, but I have these big, beautiful trees. And I
Mm,
look up a lot when I'm being grateful. And I look at the big leaves and trees. Three of big, huge trees are all connected. And that's kind of like my little window into the universe. And I always say how grateful I am. And it rained last night, so I was very happy it rained for them last night, and because it's been very dry.
Yeah.
And but it helps me to keep perspective that, all right, what's going on? If I believe in myself and I know that I'm doing my best, everything will be all right.
I love it. That's great.
And that's all.
So like you brought up breath and breathing. So I think it was a Tim Ferriss podcast.
Oh yeah.
Just recently, within the last couple of weeks, and the author of the book was called Breathe. No, Breath. Breath.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Breath. Yeah. And it's all about his journey through like I want to say like the lost art of breathing. It's amazing. I'm currently reading it. I don't recommend you buy the book, but check out the podcast. The podcast is free. But it's just amazing. So one of the things that I'm doing now is trying to breathe less through my mouth.
Yes, always. Yeah. Very important.
Yeah. Right.
You actually increase your VO2 max by breathing through your nose. So you increase the oxygen that your body's using.
Yeah. It's great. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But
that's getting all of your cells. It's getting everything oxygenated in a better way. So you have better circulation. It's an awesome thing to do. He suggested
like it's a piece of tape that goes all the way around your mouth. You look really silly, but
yeah.
But who cares? You're in bed.
Yeah. I do that when I'm riding my bike.
Closed. Yeah.
I do that when I'm walking fast or riding my bike. I'm very conscious. I'm very conscious to going up a hill. Okay. I try to really just breathe through my nose.
Right.
And once in a while exhale. Once in a while exhale because I have to. We have a lot of hills here in town. So
don't kill yourself. Don't try to keep your mouth closed when you sneeze.
They sleep with their mouth. There's people who sleep with a mouth patch over their mouth. Yeah.
I've done that now. The first night. Yeah, the first night of the tape on the mouth for sleeping was a little traumatic. Not super traumatic, but it was a little traumatic. Like, who cares? It's a piece of tape. You take it off. It's not, but trying not to was the trauma, right?
I like your honesty because that's where I would be too, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because I'm okay, I'll take it off.
Yeah.
Then I realized that if you just move your mouth a little bit harder, the tape just comes off.
Right. That's very funny. I heard people doing that.
But after night number 2 was easy, and I didn't notice there was no trauma, there was no stress, but I did sleep better.
You slept better. That's the proof right there.
Yeah. Right. I was shocked. I was like, wow, I slept better. I felt better. I don't have an Aura ring, so I don't know that I slept better.
I don't do that either.
But but I felt like I slept better. Yeah.
I think we have more stress from those type of devices sometimes because they keep us so glued to our things. Right. I think life can be intuitive too. Like our health can be intuitive.
I've never been that data driven.
I never have either.
No. If I can't feel it, then
Yeah, that's I say. It's very health and wellness is a very intuitive process, and when you can feel it, then we're really getting there. We're really getting to the root of being healthy.
Right.
When we're relying on an app, I see a lot of people using apps to do weightlifting at the gym, and they're following the thing. We're relying on we're not relying on ourselves. We're relying on something else to make it easier for us.
Right.
So is the process of learning, I think, is a little bit skewed because you're not going to get.
I don't need more things to putz with.
I don't need anything to mess around with. Are you going to be ready? And are you going to be ready for anything in life if you have to rely on all these things?
Yeah.
Anything can happen at any time.
If that's your thing, go for it.
That's your thing, and you love gadgets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm on the same page there.
It's just not me. It's just not me. Like I want to have an intimate relationship with my hearts and my lungs.
Yeah.
And when they talk to me, I want them to say,
well, I was on a morning television show recently, and one of the things I was doing a stretch right here. I said, this is how you hug yourself. You hold on to your collarbones, lift your neck up. It's a really nice stretch you can do. And I said, and while you're here, hold your heart and tell your heart how much you love it, how grateful you are for providing. Just really tell your heart how grateful you are.
I do it all the time.
You can talk to trees, you can talk to this, but talk to your own heart and say, what an amazing thing you do every day to keep me alive. And that's
like a Hawaiian tradition.
Yeah. came from Hawaii. I'm not making all this. I'm
Whenever
not
you
claiming
feel a
this for
pain,
myself. But
you can talk to that pain and say,
yeah,
hello, toe that's hurting right now.
yeah.
I'm sorry I made you hurt. I
Well, that's
love
how you
you
think.
and thank you for your service.
I think that's a really healthy way to understand your
Right.
body. Yeah,
Right.
and it's a
It's
good way of
doing its best
teaching
to
children and teaching
take
people
care
that are
of you.
younger to be more resilient.
Yeah.
And so
Eric, we've talked for almost an hour.
no
We have to
way.
stop now. I
That's so
know,
much
right?
fun.
I know, right? So you are Eric North and you are at thwarrior.com. So talk a little bit about how folks can best get in touch with Eric, the
My
happiness
website,
warrior.
you know how websites are always going through the revision. Well, they actually is today. I had a meeting about my website today, so it's going to have a lot of updates. But the really most important way to get the most easiest way to get a hold of me or see what I'm doing all the time is to get on my Instagram, which is
Okay.
the Happiness Warrior Official.
Okay.
And
Official.
I'm
Okay.
Happiness Warrior Official. And it's kind of fun because I have a lot of fun clips that come on there, the things that
I
I get
like
to
it that
do,
you're
and people I get to
official
meet.
too. That's nice.
Well, yeah, I had to be because someone else had the Happiness Warrior who never uses
It's
it,
all
so I
good.
had to make it. I had to make it something else. But
Right.
what I do with that is that's kind of like my business card too. When I meet someone else that's in media or something, that's how we connect, and that's how you start to
Okay.
get people. But I found that when I do something, I have like I have a TV segment that gets posted. I'll have a lot of people who send me a message or tell me how something resonates to them, and I really love hearing from people. I love hearing I love hearing. I want to build million happiness warriors. Okay. I don't want to be
That's
the only
great.
one. I don't want to be the only
Right.
one. I want to build happiness warriors. I want to do something
Right.
more. It's like a
We need more
foundation
people.
someday.
Yes.
Yeah. Create maybe something for children to be happiness warriors too, without having to be in some kind of Boy Scout or some kind of troop or something, but just something they can just initiate on their own too. And I can
Right.
be there, So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Eric, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for about an hour.
Well, thank you for having me, Jeff. It was so much fun, and I love your palm tree in the background too. I'm getting that too. So, what a great life
That's
you have. You're just on the beach.
that's the chill vibe, man.
Yeah,
I never leave the beach.
it's awesome.
All right, you have a good one. Talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to ride along with us on another episode of Vroom Vroom Veer. For podcast info and show notes, be sure to head over to vvveer.com. That's VVER.com. Man, that's fun to say. And we'll catch up with you next time here on Vroom Vroom Veer.